Hello everyone and welcome to episode 6 of my conversations with my friend Andrew Reagan. Now, I can't believe we've reached episode 6 already. It seems quite a while ago that we caught up with Andrew because last time he said that he was going through Morocco, so we're going to be catching up about Andrew's Arabian adventuring, seeing where he is currently. So, hi Andrew, thanks for joining
Hello.
us again.
No problem.
So, where are you currently? Obviously, you finished your Moroccan stint now. So, where are you currently?
I'm in Italy. I rerouted the journey, and I started another one in Italy after Morocco. So I'm currently been walking Italy for about 4 weeks, and I'm in Sicily now.
Lovely part of the world. So, how did the African side of the journey? Because you changed continents, you moved from Europe to Africa. So, how did the African side of the journey differ from the European side?
I knew it'd be different, because it's completely different culture, isn't it? It's going into, Arabia. Um, so I expected it to be different. It's probably more different than I expected. Um, the one of the main challenges on that side was not being able to use my phone as much, because the minute I triggered my data, it didn't last very long at all. You can send about 5 or 6 text messages on WhatsApp and then it's gone. So that was difficult. But yeah, it was different, culture wise, more quiet, um, more of a way of life that you don't really see anymore. People walking about just wandering and strolling without any purpose or not looking like it anyway. Um, you used to see that a long time ago, people going for long walks on a Sunday afternoon, just meandering about. So you'd see a lot of that. It were quiet. The cafes, full of this is in Europe. Everyone we people drink alcohol, don't they? So that was a big difference. They just, do drinking tea and very quiet in the cafes. But it suited me. A lot of that side of the Arabic culture does suit me because I'm a quiet person and I like my peace and I don't drink either. And I liked the food. I like the tea. They drink a lot of this mint tea, which is delicious. I think they pack it with sugar though, because it's you're absolutely buzzing after it. But yeah, and the food's good as well. Like lots of vegetables, spices, fruits, stuff, that kind of food. I do miss from home. Like when you cook for yourself, you'll have a lot more vegetables, but in Europe it does seem to be a lot more meat, potatoes, pasta, bread, stuff like that. So there was a lot of refreshing changes. I enjoyed it.
So, you mentioned that you had a few run-ins with the National Guard in Morocco. Could you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, the National Guard, they're all right. I don't know how it works. To me, they all seemed like young lads. Don't know if it's like a national service type of thing, but they patrol the beach and the coast. And if they caught you, they'd move you on. But they were always dead nice about it. In fact, a lot of the time they try their best to like let you stay there. They'd be on the phone to the superiors asking if it was all right, and very rarely would the superior would, whoever was above them, very rarely would they let me stay. But the first time, I picked a lovely spot right on a cliff, like looking out over the sea, and I just set my tent and I turned around and there's a guy stood there with a rifle in his hand. So I was just, I probably would have panicked, but it was pointing down at the floor, and he seemed all right. He didn't seem like he was like going to start firing at me or anything. So I just walked over to him and shook his hand, and I was talking on his phone via Google Translate and I was explaining what I did, what I was doing. He said I couldn't stay there. So I got to the bottom of the cliff and started making my way back towards the beach. And another guy appeared, and he looked exactly the same as the other guy, young and with a mustache. They both look like Freddie Mercury. So he was asking me all the same things, and so by this part, I was getting a bit fed up. I was knackered. I was tired. I just wanted to lie down, go to sleep. So I was chatting on Google Translate. I was getting a bit daft by this point. I told him my name. I said I'm Captain Braden. I'm a British adventurer on an expedition in Morocco. Um, and he said, "It is." It is an honor to meet you, Captain Braden. And I was like, shook his hand, and he said, I will lead you back to the beach. So he led me back to the beach, and he says, you sleep there and I will keep watch. He had a little chair where he was looking out, sat and looking out at the ocean. So I was like, oh, great. Started setting up my tent, and then another guy appeared with a rifle, another member of the National Guard. This time there was two of them. And the so just going through it all again, talking on Google Translate, explaining your situation. It's getting later and later, and you're just so tired. And but he made me laugh because he asked to check my passport, so I gave him that, and he's checking it over. And then this, I suppose, is one of the flaws with Google Translate because I knew what he meant though, but it did make me chuckle. I'm clean shaven, you see on my passport picture.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he actually did type into Google Translate, but when he pressed the button and it was read out like in this robotic American woman's voice, and she says, "Oh, can I take a picture of your zero stubble?" Which I admit I just burst out laughing at that, and I obviously meant, "Can I take a picture of your passport or your clean shaven face?" I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know why he wanted it, but I just said, yeah, that's fine. So he did that, and then he agreed to let me camp on the beach. So, like I say, sometimes you'd get away with it, sometimes he'd move you on, but there were quite a few instances. There's one time where I had to hide from him, and there was like all shining these big bright torches up on the cliff looking for me, and I'm laid down on my back on the cliff, and I was quite impressed actually. I managed to set my tent up from a lay down position whilst on my back, feeding the rods in and stuff. And you just think it's just ridiculous that you have to go through all that, but just see part of the adventure, isn't it? All those daft
Yes.
situations.
And so we're now in February, we're now in November, well, nearly December. It's December next week. So we mentioned this before, but you started this walking over in April, so it's 8 months now on the road. And
Yeah.
you've technically said, you started off in Grimsby, and you've technically said that the Grimsby sort of walk is sort of ended in Morocco now, and you've had to reroute yourself in Italy and Europe. And obviously, you've said some of the issues because of that, like your phone usage. You like to keep in touch with family and friends, and
Yeah, that was it. I mean, I'm happy to say I walked to Morocco, and look, I got a boat from Dover to Calais, and I got a boat from Algeciras in Spain to Ceuta on the African side. They're just like little channels, and there's nothing I could do about that. You know, like, I can't walk on water, can I? I've got to like get a boat. So I'm happy to say I walked to Morocco from Grimsby. So as an unbroken walk, yeah, that was it. It did end in Morocco because I cannot go around saying I walked from England to Italy because I didn't. I returned to Morocco. I returned to Spain by boat from Morocco. That was about a 10-hour journey. You know, the next day I took a bus from Almeria to Barcelona. That was about 20 hours. I took a boat from Barcelona to Italy. That was another 20 hours. So, you know, there was too much travel gone on in between and too many days in between to say that the Italy walk is connected to the Grimsby walk. Other people might think I'm just chatting rubbish, but that's how I see it, you see. So, I was a
I'm
bit
recording. Yeah.
I was a bit gutted when I did find out like the Algerian border were closed and you know the complications with the visas, and the extra charges to the phone and that they gave me a load of headaches. And for a few days I was just wondering what to do, and I was just thinking, oh, I can't do it. I can't. It's just too much hassle. To go to Algeria, and for starters, I'd have had to return to Spain anyway because I couldn't go straight through. So I thought, just start. You're not ready to go home yet. So start another walk. See how the pressure's off. You know, just see how long you go. So that's what I did. Came to Italy. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it was England to Morocco, and that was it. I'm walking Italy, but I arrived by boat. I've not walked all the way from England to Italy.
And so, what are your plans for like as we're coming into winter? Because obviously, the weather's gonna get colder, and what sort of challenges will that present and things like that?
Oh God, the last week I got absolutely battered. Storm after storm after storm, and the proper storms, you know, coming down very heavy, thunder and lightning, absolutely drenched puddles in the tent. Everything's soaked. Once everything's soaked, when it's cold and it's wet, it's so hard to get it dry again. But you have to because you can't carry on like that. So you'll find a place, usually a church or wherever. Um, so yeah, I got a bit battered last week with storms. So up until that point, I've been very lucky in Italy. It's still quite warm over here, and even now in Sicily, this week has been nice and warm. Um, I've had to buy some extra clothes, keeping warm at night. You do feel the temperature drop now. Now we're in November, so you know, when I was going through Europe, I'd be sleeping in shorts and t-shirt. Whereas here, it's just like you just keep pretty much all your layers on just to try and keep warm. Um, I took refuge the other day at a church because it were just, I think it was the fifth day in a row, I'd just been battered with storms. And I spoke to the priest and I said, is there a space I can use for a while to dry out all my stuff? But he was amazing. He gave me a bed for the night. So I dried out all my stuff. I got a good night's sleep. And he gave me a new sleeping bag as well, which is good. It's very better than my old one anyway. My old one was wrecked.
So going back to the Moroccan side, so you talked briefly about that their way of life suited you. So were there any sort of traditions or local customs that surprised you or deeply resonated with your journey?
Um, did it really No, not really, because I was I had a good idea what it'd be like. what I was touched by was the Moroccan hospitality. I kind of had an idea, just that would be nice as well. Just with them being like an, Muslims, the Arabic country. I find them very, very respectful people, and I wasn't surprised. They're very hospitable. They want to help. They want to know about you. Um, they one thing, and this doesn't happen often, but sometimes it does. Is like I live on in a tent and I walk every day, so it's hard for me to look presentable. So sometimes, now and again, people might, especially if you're in a restaurant, they might look down the nose at you. That never happened once in Morocco. In fact, the more unkept, the more dishevelled you turned up in their places, the more they wanted to help you. And sometimes I can't get out of places for ages because they kept throwing more food on my plate. So the hospitality side, they was great, very friendly, wanting to help. They reassuring you all the time too that you're going to be safe there, and saying things like, treat Morocco like it's your second home. Don't worry, you will be safe there. And they're all the things that you want to hear, because so often people are telling you about, oh, you can't go there, or oh, don't do that. And it was just reassuring to be in a place where people was like saying things like you will be safe, and don't, um, take your time with your walk, and enjoy Morocco.
I
Um,
mean, I suppose that can resonate at home really, because at the moment I feel that there's so much division about with British and other cultures living in Britain. So you have the asylum seekers, and then you have Muslims, and and there's so much division, and like everywhere you look now in Britain, there's Union Jack flags, there's England flags everywhere, and that just shows division. And I think in Britain at the moment there's so much racism and lack of understanding about different cultures. And really, if you just get to know these people, they are friendly, they're not a threat to anyone.
Yeah, no, you don't see that when I'm out and about. I don't see that. Just one more, just one moment. I'm not sure whether these ladies want to get in the church, and I'm right in the doorway.
Right, okay.
One moment. Sorry, sorry. Hello. Uh, do you need to get in? See, I will move. Sorry. Bear with us. I'm just gonna move my stuff. What's that?
Okay.
The joys of live television.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I was a bit worried that had happened, being in front of the church doorway. I thought they might be starting mass at any point, but anyway. So yeah, I don't see that. I can't speak for England. I don't really watch the news. I'm very, I don't really, you see these things. But I've seen it on the wall. A lot of, and I think on the whole, people are good and they do want to do nice things for people and they do want to get on with people too. And I just think it's a small minority. I'm sure it is because I'd see it all the time. You know, if it was so bad, I'd see it every
Yeah.
day. And
Yeah.
I think it's a small minority, and that's what makes the news.
Yeah.
Because you know, where there's the sort of thing they put on the news because they don't want it's conflict, isn't it? And
Yeah.
people are interested in conflict.
Yeah.
Um, but I honestly don't see it. Didn't see anything like that walking for England. Don't see it in Europe. Certainly didn't see it in Morocco. Um, you know, I've not felt any prejudice against me. Um, and I've not seen any prejudice against any other people as well. But I do get what you're saying on the news. It's plastered with stuff like that. But if it were that bad, you'd see it all the time. You'd see it in the streets a lot more. And you don't. I do think on the whole, people do actually. There's a small minority that might be arseholes, but most people want to
Yeah.
help.
Mm.
Most people get a kick out of helping other people.
Yeah, of course.
I think in fact, we're designed as human beings. We are designed to help one another. We get we get that feel good feeling. Apparently, that's scientifically proven. You get that feel good feeling when you help someone. It makes them feel good. It makes you feel good, and it makes you have a sense of like purpose as well. Um, so yeah, personally, I've not seen it anywhere on my travels.
So, like, what was the Moroccan terrain like? Because you mentioned, the beaches, and so how did that differ from Europe to Africa?
The That's well annoying. I don't, sorry. I've just moved from that doorway, but the people who were waiting outside have just walked off, so I could have actually stayed there. I don't
Yeah.
know. Don't know what's going on. Look. But anyway, we'll continue under the tree. It's quite nice setting here, isn't it? With a
Yeah.
light. Um the terrain. Oh God, it was tough. The terrain was tough, so dry. Um and I don't fall that often, but I felt really clumsy in Morocco. I was falling all the time. I think it was a combination of like fatigue and just the dryness of everything. You know, when you stand, you'd stand on a rock and normally it'd hold your weight, and then suddenly it'd just slide out from the edge of the earth and just go rolling. And you're lucky you didn't turn your ankle. Um, yeah, I fell a lot. Um, it was beautiful though. Beautiful landscape. There's something though that the Moroccans do need to address, and I think this spoiled it for me a lot. Is there's a lot of litter, especially on
Yeah.
the beaches and on the coast, and I was surprised by that because the Moroccans are respectful and they always come across like they love the country. So I don't know why they dropped so much litter. Whether it's an issue with the government, whether they don't have a very good system in place for collections and that. But it was really bad, and that lowered my mood a lot because I love being out in nature. I love walking coasts, forests, any kind of like bits of nature, mountains. So when I see fly tipping and loads of litter and stuff like that, it does bring my mood down. Um, it's not just Morocco; it's been an issue in every country. Um, Even today, as I was going down a river, I was just thinking, oh, it's just no need for it. Just piles of like bin bags all just like dumped in certain areas, and you just think you have to have pretty low morals to fly tip. Don't get worse than that for me.
And what was the food like in Morocco? Because you mentioned about in Europe, it's all sort of the same, like breads and pastas, and so was it a completely different experience trying the local cuisine?
Yeah, like the food, the Moroccans, you always went away really full up, give you massive portions, loads of bread with your food, um, olives, vegetables, tagine, obviously, tagine's, famous over there. They're all different types of tagines. Yeah, you always got, whenever you got a breakfast, you always got a random egg on a plate and a yogurt, which, I need all the protein I can get, so I wasn't playing it. Uh, the tea was probably my favorite. Just the tea, the yogurts that they do. They was delicious. And just the fruit and all. It's just it was you can I say fruit, you can get that anywhere on the planet, but I ate very well there. Let's say that.
So, I'll sign off now, Andrew, because it does look to be getting a bit dark where you are.
Hmm.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
so I'll look forward to speaking to you next time.
no problem. Thank you, Steph.
Yeah, let me know when you want the next one doing, whether it just be before Christmas or the New Year. I'm not sure how you want to work it.
Yeah, we'll try and sneak one before Christmas.
Yeah. All right then.
All right. Well, thank you for the chat.
Yeah,
Always nice.
thank you for the catch up. All
All
right
right.
then.
Speak soon.
Speak soon. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye
Bye.
bye.